All right, man. Y'all already know it's Cuddy B. Bringing y'all back another video, but I'm actually experiencing mental harassment, and it ain't from everybody, but it's brought to be by selective individuals who have came into my life under the false pretenses of witchcraft. So with that being said, this video is going to express some things that you may or may not know. So like, my day consisted of a dream. It kind of pissed me off when I woke up because it was a sexual dream. Now, people call them wet dreams when you dream you getting some and you actually think you getting some because you done got some. And you can see why that bothers me, because I'm on a path of abstinence. So I'm like 6 years and counting when it comes to being abstinent without having sex. And I don't masturbate either. And when it comes to masturbation, I'm probably like 3 or 4 years into not masturbating, because when I wasn't, having sex, at times I would masturbate. But I decided not to masturbate because me masturbating is me sinning against my flesh. Even me smoking this is me sinning against my flesh. But right now, me smoking a Black and Mild, I feel like it is more lighter compared to other sin. But I say all the rest of the stuff to say that the dream baffled me because I could hear this woman's voice talking to me in my thought throughout the dream. And she was saying, oh, she want dick, she like dick. She was saying that in my thought. And I was asleep. So once my dream kicked in, I was already having a sexual encounter with a person that I used to date. And when I woke up from my dream, I could still hear this woman's voice that was in my dream. And she was talking to me from the dream world, but now she's talking to me in the physical world. So, make a long story short, I was talking in thought. And I was saying how, I'm tired of them showing up in my dreams and effing me, because they do that a lot. It'll be different people, but they'll show up in my dream and it'll be a sexual dream. And I'll be kind of frustrated because in the physical, I'm not having sex at all. You see what I'm saying? And I chose to do that because I'm single. Me having dreams like that is not a wet dream to me. It's a forced spiritual sexual assault to me. And it wasn't like that I was getting raped, but I understand that to dream is to be absent from the present world that we live in, the world that we know, and we call that earth here. But to dream, you're not on earth. You're on a whole nother level of what reality is. But we don't identify dreams with being real, because we know that we occupy most of our 24 hours in the physical world. So whenever we do have a dream, we always identify dreams with something that's fake. But it's not fake. It's just a bigger and broader experience of what we call life. You see what I'm saying? But you can't tell a normal person that, because they're going to say a dream is fake. You see what I'm saying? So what I've noticed is things that are in the dream world manifest into the real world. It might not be verbatim and it might not be precise, but for me to hear a voice in the dream world and wake up in the physical world and this person still talking to me, like, it's something about that. But if I explain it to you, you're going to say I'm schizophrenic, because the only thing that I can tell you at this moment is that this person is talking to me from a dream world, but I don't know who she is in the physical world. So I say all that to say it's witchcraft. See, what most humans don't know is that a lot of the unexplained monuments that we have on earth, they are landmarkers that are placed here to be able to connect with a another world. For instance, those pyramids, don't nobody know who made them. Stonehenge, don't nobody know who placed them there. Because according to human technology, people didn't have technology like that during the time. So they can't explain how it got here. Now those apartments, we know Jesus and his friends built that. You see what I'm saying? Jesus is a representation of Spanish. See what I'm saying? They spell the word Jesus the same way as Jesus. See what I'm saying? Jesus was a carpenter. A carpenter is a person who builds things. See what I'm saying? That's the same thing as what Spanish people doing. Spanish people damn near built the whole world. And everybody want to take credit for it except them. But we can see that black people and African American people pick cotton. And they are the indentured servants or the slavists or the slaves of the world. We know that. History told us that. Modern day told us that you and I went from Slavis, Latin for slave. Etymology changed it to Slavis, to slave, to indentured servant, to employee. So no matter where I go, I'm going to have to always work for a white man. That's not the issue. No matter where you see a Spanish person, they're going to be building a house because that's who he is. He is Jesus. He is the carpenter. He's the builder of the planet. Black and African people are the employees of the master. The master is the white dude, because the white man has already mastered on how to conquer a society. So no matter who he is and where he go, he's going to always have the higher rank because of his skin color, because that's the way his forefathers made it. So even when you work for, hypothetically speaking, McDonald's, your manager might be a black person, but the person who owned the franchise ain't. Now, a black person can buy into a franchise and have their own Chick-fil-A, but you bought into something that was already owned by a master. You see what I'm saying? So, make a long story short, I've started noticing that the story that they tell us in the Holy Book is that this whole world is deceived by sorcery. See what I'm saying? Sorcery is the foundation of deception. And in modern day, black women and some white have gravitated to being a witch or a wizard. I feel like they have changed up the roles of people, because black people were once viewed as gods. You know why? Because they could talk to their ancestors. You know why? Because their African spirituality allowed them to survive off the land and talk to their ancestors even after death. So where black people messed up, so-called black people, because we're really not black people, but to classify us all as one, they just call it black or African American. So we're all classified as one, even though we're all different. You see what I'm saying? Some black people are Panamanian. They belong to a whole nother tribe that's different from African. African people belong to a whole nother tribe that's different from Aztecs. Aztecs belong to a whole other tribe that's different from Incas. Incas belong to a whole nother tribe that's different from American Indian. American Indians belong to a whole nother tribe that's different from Indians and Indigo people, who belong to a whole nother tribe that's different from the house of Jacob. But to confuse a person on who it is that they are with identity, we're all considered black, but we all ain't the same. So with knowing that, we're all considered a part of the lost tribes. What makes us lost is the identity misplacement of who we once were. So some people who used to be identified by their bloodline, they don't know the heritage of their history. So with that being said, one can be deceived because they don't know their history. Now in this modern day, we all told that we're all one, but we all know that equality don't exist in this world. Because no matter what, based on skin tone, one is considered the master, the other one is considered the employee or the slave, another is considered the builders. Like I said, the builders are Jesus. Jesus is spelled the same way as Jesus. Jesus was the carpenter who built things. Jesus was also the sacrificial lamb that the wicked sacrifice over and over again. They sacrifice that over and over again. You see it in modern day when people get shot down and killed because of who they are, not because of what they've done, but because of who they are. Because their job is to be an assassin to people who they know no harm from, or who they've experienced no harm from. It's people that go to jail and get arrested and die. Not because of their mouth, because police officers, they use lewd conduct all the time. Get the fuck down. Shut the fuck up. Put your hands up. That's lewd conduct. But if I say it to you, I'll go to jail for lewd conduct. But if you say it to me, it's okay. So that typical type of police officer, he's been led by corruption. You know why there's corruption from him? It's because he got a witch standing next to him. You know who is his witch? His wife. His wife is either the witch or he's the wizard, one or the other. A good cop don't have that type of traits. A good cop knows to use less excessive force because he's going to view you like a human being. But a witch is going to use its wickedness to rule over you. So when you get pulled over by a wizard, he's going to kill you. When you get pulled over by a witch, she's going to shoot. You see what I'm saying? But that's their job. But you can't identify them because we're all grouped as one now. So when you get pulled over by a cop, you don't know if he's a witch or she's you don't know if he's a wizard, and you don't know if she's a witch. You see what I'm saying? But you're going to have the encounter of one of the three. A normal human being don't see you for hate. So right now we're fortunate enough to be in modern day times where a lot of people don't see you for hate. But they're also blended in with the ones who do. So y'all will see white people and y'all will think they all the same, but they really not. You see what I'm saying? You got some white people who are gods. You got some black people who are gods. You have some black people who are demonic. You have some black people who aren't demonic. But because they classified everybody as one whole, you can't tell the difference. So me, prime example, I date women, but I don't carry a demonic spirit. See what I'm saying? But people will tell you because a person is homosexual that they're going to go to hell, or they're going to tell you that they possess a homosexual spirit. People in humanity try to classify people as one or the other, and they secretly do that. So what I've come to realize is the perversion is what's the sin. You see what I'm saying? Meaning, if I choose to date a lady and she's a follower of Christ and I'm a follower of Christ, there's no sin in us loving each other. Why? Because we're not committing a perversion to love each other. The sin of perversion was people placing men on stakes that they have to put their body, their upper bodies, on a stake, and they bend them over and they tie their hands down with rope and they pry their legs open and they butt in the air, and then they sodomize those men, and those men were in excruciating pain and they cried out to the heavens. And when they cried out to the heavens, that's what made it a sin, because you sodomized this man due to your own wicked perversion. Two men who love each other is not the same thing as that, if you can understand what I mean by that. And I can reiterate it for those who just don't get it. If two men decide to love each other and they have an agreement on how they love each other, if it's mutual, that's not him hurting him. The hurtful part could go homosexual or heterosexual. The reason why is the perversion is in your sexual act. If I was heterosexual and I had sex with thousands of men, hundreds of men, that will classify me as a jazzy belle or hoe or harlot. That would classify me as that if I was doing that. If a heterosexual man sleeps around with hundreds of women, that would classify him as a whoremonger. So the sin is him sleeping around with multiple women and multiple men when it comes for women on the heterosexual level. That don't mean that it just limited to homosexual people, because that's what people fail to realize. Like, they always try to classify one as a sin but the other one not. So if it's a sin to sodomize a person, a man who sticks his private part and his wife behind, it's still a sin on the heterosexual tip. So to compare and contrast, if it's a sin for two dudes to have sex and sodomize each other, it's the same as a man sodomizing a woman. You see what I'm saying? If that's a sin. But people will rule a man being with a woman and her, orally pleasing him or even giving him some from the front or the back. People don't think that that's a sin. They think that that's okay. But then they think it's not okay when the same sex do it. So my whole thing is, you have to live for you and be who you are in this world. God only wanted us to till the land. God says that you could be fruitful and multiply. You could be fruitful and bear fruit and bear a child. Or you could be fruitful in your business and you could be successful and have a fruitful harvest with your business. Same way as a farmer could have a fruitful harvest with the crops that he grows. So being fruitful doesn't necessarily put you in one category. Being fruitful don't mean to just keep on having babies. Being fruitful is to produce a good harvest. Your good harvest could be your offspring, but it also could be the fruits on your tree. It also could be the business that you have. So people have to know the difference between what it is that the Bible's actually saying. When I argue these points, people are going to think that I'm trying to stick up for LGBT people, and in reality I really am, because I'm a part of that community. But the difference between me and a lot of other people that's in the same community is I don't wear the title. I don't wear the title because y'all have too many stipulations on what is a lesbian. Lesbian people get mad at me for saying that I'm a lesbian. Why? Because I dated men in my past. Why? Because I'm also a mother. So they get mad at me and tell me that I'm not a lesbian because I've dated a man before, or men before. So they tell me I'm not considered to be a lesbian at all because I've dated a man. But the last time I checked, the word lesbian means a woman who dates women. So regardless of whether I've dated a man in my past before, because I've dated a woman too, I'm considered a lesbian. But in the LGBT community, I can't wear that title because to them, I'm not lesbian enough because I dated a man too. You see what I'm saying? So outside of that, people get mad at me for appearing the way that I am. Most men would rather see me with a wig on my head and some tight clothes on to where you can see the shape of my physique. Most people would rather see me in that light versus to see me with short hair and with clothes that fit me. My clothes aren't tight because I don't want a yeast infection. You see what I'm saying? My clothes aren't tight on my body because I don't really want you to lust after my body. So never mind the way you perceive me. My reasons of not dressing the way I dress is my own internal reason. It don't have nothing to do with you and how you view me. It's my own liking to what it is that I identify with. So another point, people in this world want you to, if you're a woman, they want you to have long hair. They want you to dress a certain way. If you're a man, they want you to have short hair and for you to dress a certain way. But it's okay for a man to have long hair, but it's not okay for a woman to have short hair. It's okay if a straight man has long hair, but if a gay man has long hair, then it's a problem. If a gay man wears women clothes, that's a problem to them. If a gay woman wears men clothes, that's a problem to them. But it's okay to them if a straight man has on skinny jeans. Skinny jeans are made for women, but you are okay with that. But for me to look the way I am, you have a problem with that. So my thing is, why is it that every living creature on this earth, including the trees, with the exception of humanity, why is it okay for all living things to house both masculine energy and femininity? Every feline that you've ever seen in this earth, every fish that you've ever seen on this earth, every ape that you've ever seen on this earth, every dog that you've ever seen on this earth, every bird that you've ever seen on this earth, every flower, every plant, all living things got masculine and feminine energy. Meaning you can't tell if a cat is a boy cat or a girl cat unless you look at their private. Unless you look at their reproduction organs. That's the only way you can tell that a cat is a boy cat. So why get mad at me for being in the image of what androgynous is? How are you mad at me for having both masculine features and feminine features, but you're not mad at all of the other creations that God has made that has the same thing? You can't tell if a dog is a boy dog or a girl dog. Only way you can tell if a dog is a boy dog or a girl dog is if you look at his private. I don't want you to look at my private, so you can't see that because mine's covered up because I'm not naked no more. But you have a problem with that because it's not in the image of what you call femininity. So why should I experience your hate for what is masculine and feminine? Because all things carry the same trait. The fish, you can't tell if it's a boy or a girl. When you catch a fish, how can you tell that that's a boy or a fish girl? You can't. If you pick up a damn snake off the ground, you can't tell if the snake a boy or a girl. But if you see a lesbian woman, you mad because you don't know if she's a woman or a boy. If you see a gay man, you mad because to you, you're confused because you can't tell if it's a boy or a girl. But you don't feel that way about nature. And nature is the example that masculine and femininity is in all things. The woman's clitoris and private part is in the shape of a small penis, a phallus. But to see that and to know that there is a slight difference, but you can't tell until they pull off their clothes. One might say, well, I can tell if you're a woman because you're going to have some titties. I understand that, but I'm the type of woman who don't have big breasts. I got them. I got some breasts. But you can't see that. My hair is short. So when you see my hair, you see me from the side, you think that I'm a guy. But if you hear me talk, you know I'm a woman. Why do you hate me for having both masculine and feminine energy in one body? You don't hate the cat. You don't hate the dog. You don't hate the bird. You don't hate the tree. You don't hate the fish. You don't hate the squirrel. You don't hate the worm. You don't hate the snake. But you hate the human who embodies both masculine and feminine energy. Why? Comment below if y'all got the answer. Just comment below if you got the answer. If you don't got the answer, comment anyway. So that's one of my questions that I want y'all to comment below about that. Why do people hate humans who embody both masculine and feminine traits? Why do y'all hate them? Y'all hate them with a passion. You can't go nowhere. I have people indirectly being homophobic toward me because they see me. So now because I'm working around different people who have a different view of opinion, they'll showcase their natural hate by indirectly speaking out loud against homosexuality. And they only do that because I'm there. Because if I wasn't there, they wouldn't even be having that conversation. But because you see a woman who embodies masculine traits when it comes to how I look, you mad. But didn't the Bible teach you that woman is in reflection of man? So how can you be mad at me for being in the image of who you are? Men, because a lot of men be more homophobic than women do. A lot of women, we take up for men who are gay because we know how hard it is for you to live in your truth. Your truth doesn't have to be perversion. You could be a well put homosexual person like me. I'm clean cut. I'm not about to walk out the house without washing my behind. I ain't finna walk out the house without my hair being done. And I keep my hair cut because I cut my own hair. But I have to do that because who's going to do it for me? I'm not the type of person that's going to pay you to groom me when I can learn how to groom myself. And I'm not going to beg you to feed me when I can feed myself. I'm not going to beg you to teach me the word of God when I can look and seek and find information for myself. So that's the whole dilemma that I have being a part of the LGBT community. LGBT don't accept me. Straight people don't accept me. Straight people don't accept me because they mad at what I embody. Because I embody masculine and feminine energy. LGBT don't accept me because they found out I had a daughter. So for me to have a daughter, I'm considered not to be a lesbian, even though lesbian means that I like women and I like women and I date women. So I'm not a lesbian enough to you because I've laid down with a man and had a child. I had a child because I wanted one. You know? I got a kid because I wanted one. I'm not the type of woman that's trying to teach my child how to be gay. And I'm not the type of woman who lusts after every person that I see. I'm respectful with it. You see what I'm saying? and me being respectful to other people's beliefs, I always keep in mind that, hey, I understand who I am as a person. I understand my sexuality, and I'm not trying to put my sexuality on people. So when I find a woman attractive, I don't even approach her. Not because I'm not confident enough, but because the type of ladies that I like, shit, you might be straight. Because I like the type that keep their hair did, keep their clothes clean, keep their drawers clean, keep their mouth clean. I'm the type of person that I like people who upkeep themselves. I'm not attracted to a whorish person at all. You can tell a whorish person based on the spirit that they carry. A whorish person is going to always make a pass at you. I have men right now that look at me just like how I look, androgynous, and they still try to approach me on a sexual tip. I can turn you back. If you need some dick, let me know. Sir, if I needed some dick, I'll go buy me one. But I don't masturbate, so ain't no point in me buying one. And I don't have to penetrate a lady if I date her. If she's a true lesbian, she ain't even gonna want that, because she's not attracted to penis. You see what I'm saying? But new age lesbians do it. A lot of people do this type of stuff because it's a trend. So a lot of them try to follow the trend. And in them following the trend tells them that, hey, I want you to look this way, and I want you to date this type of person. So following a trend, you will miss out on your love, trying to be something that everybody else think is cool. I met this one girl, and I knew in my heart that I was supposed to at least try. And the connection that me and her both had, I knew that she wanted that too. But because she has a support system who don't support who she really is at heart, she won't even explore that. And if she do explore it, she'll explore it privately. And don't get me wrong, your sexuality is private. But if you're not comfortable with your sexuality, then you're going to hide it. Now, I'm not saying that you're supposed to just wear your sexuality, because you really don't have to. But a lot of us who are lesbian women, you could tell by how we keep our hair, and you could tell by how we dress, whether we lesbian or not, because it's just a certain, what people call gaydar. It's a certain feel, and it's a certain attraction that you have to other gay people. And that attraction don't always be sexual. Like, I've met a few white guys at work, at a different job that I worked at, called the Zazas. The ones that I met and hung and clinged to, something just tried to make me say something totally different, but I'll go into detail about that in a whole nother video. But the people that I've clinged to as far as friendship, like, they all was gay. Like, this guy, his name is Wyatt, and big salute to Wyatt. He is, and Josh too, and Nessa too. All three of them are different. You feel me? Josh is a white male that's gay, but you'll never know that he's gay. He only confided in me about his sexuality because me and him gravitated toward one another. Same way as Nessa. She confided in me about her sexuality. Wyatt, I couldn't even tell that he was born a woman because he's a transsexual. And he looks just like a man. He's muscular built. He has facial hair, low cut, and very attractive. But he's a transgender person. He transitioned from being a woman to a man. His wife transitioned from being a man into a woman. So technically, he's really not gay. But to y'all, he's something derogatory. But how can he be considered different from you if he's a woman who transitioned to a man who is married to a man who transitioned to a woman? He's still dating the opposite sex. The only thing difference is both of them had a gender swap. And they met each other. They didn't agree to hey, let's go change our sex. No. He changed his sex and he found the love of his life. And the love of his life is also transgender. But he confided in me about being attacked by normal people who damn near place him in a hate group because they don't understand him because he's transgender. And I, as a person, I have love for them. And it's times why I pray for them because I know how it is to experience a rough life just because of who you are. No matter what you decide to classify yourself as, there's no law that says you can't change your gender. Ye are the creators. That's the part of the Bible that y'all skip. If he decided to create an image for himself, that's his business. If he decided to change his sexuality, that's his business. If he decides that he wants to be a boy, that's his business. There's no sin in that. But y'all place the stigma of what sin is on selective people. Excuse me, like I said, you don't think that it's a sin for a heterosexual man to sodomize a woman. If a straight dude decide to have anal sex with a woman, you don't think that that's a sin. But you think that it's a sin for two dudes to do that. So y'all got to make up y'all mind on what is sin. Because it's not really about the character and the person that you are. It's about your perversion when it comes to sexuality. You see what I'm saying? They might make love instead of fuck. But instead of you looking at the love connection, you looking at the image of who they are. So you telling us that they are sinful just because they transgender. But how is they sinful if he's born a woman that transitioned to a man, and if she's a man that transitioned to a woman, he's still dating a woman? You see what I'm saying? Either way it go, he's still a man who dated a woman. If he never had a sex change, he would be a woman who's dating a man. So no matter how you flip the script, he's still dating somebody that's the same as you. But you don't look at yourself like you the same as him, because you look at yourself like you hetero. And you look at him like he's homo because he had a sex change. But like I said, he's still a man who's now a man that's now dating a woman. If neither one of them never had a sex change, he would be a woman who's dating a man. You get it? But y'all make him feel bad, and you make him feel threatened. And he's white. His wife is white. And they are an attractive couple. And they only love each other. They not loving Tom, Dick, and Harry, and Susie, and Joe, and Veronica, and Elizabeth, and Suzette, and Ashley, and Paul. They ain't loving all these people. They loving each other. But you think that their love is a sin. But it's okay for a heterosexual male to screw 30 women within a 90-day period. You think that that's okay? So it's not the person it's not the character of who the human is. It's the traits that the human gives. They traits is to be in a monogamous relationship. This heterosexual man is to be in a polygamy type of relationship or open relationship. Most men that be married to women, they be dating other women. They have their little girlfriends, their baby mama, their wife, side bitches, side chicks, all that. But y'all think that that's cool. You want to high five a motherfucker for having 5 women. But then you want to shun the person that's lesbian and only date one woman. And you tell her she going to hell for that. But you tell him Man, you got all the bitches when he dating 25 women within 60-day period. This man done been through more women that he can count on his hair. You see what I'm saying? It's men out there that these little bitty dreads that I got. I know men that's done had more women than that. And y'all are high five them. Call, man, you the man. Man, you got all the bitches. Man, you got all the hoes. But how you gonna call a woman a hoe when she in a reflection of you? You the hoe. You the hoe. How you gonna call a woman a hoe if she date a few people? You're the type of people that call women hoes. Oh. Excuse me. I'm just saying I tell studs they fine too, but I ain't mean no harm. Huh? I said I tell studs they fine too, but I ain't mean no harm. Nah, you good. No problem. But yeah, though, like people try to make folks feel bad about who they are. And naturally you the way you are for a reason. You don't get to pick your skin tone when you come in this world. You know what I'm saying? People that's born in this world, they don't pick their color. I knew I was bisexual when I was a kid. You know what I'm saying? When I used to be young, I used to tell myself I couldn't wait to get grown because I wanted to have my own little family. You know what I'm saying? But my whole thing was I wanted to be with a woman. So when I started exploring that side of me, people didn't like the way it looked. Because at one point in my life, I had wigs. I can show y'all other videos and other proof of me how I was when I was more feminine. But the difference is now I don't wear wigs and stuff. But I've been put the wigs down because I didn't like it. Even when it comes to heels and different types of clothing, like I don't like dressing like that. I did it because it was expected of me. Throughout high school, throughout coming up in life, my mama used to buy me certain types of clothing. So with her buying me those type of clothing, that's how I looked. You know what I'm saying? So I dressed up to par. And then when I got grown, I didn't tell my mama I was dating women. My mama told me. My mama called me one day and told me, "You got a girlfriend." And I was like, "How you know that, Mom? What made you say that?" And guess what made her say that? She bumped into somebody that I used to date. And instead of them allowing me to tell my people, they told my people for me. So the whole time I was pretty much an adult, but I hid my sexuality. I still dated women. I used to have women from earliest as I can remember. I ain't even got to say that age because y'all all know people hunched when they was kids. I was the type of person that hunched with a girl as a kid. You see what I'm saying? And as a teenager, I did too. And in my 20s, I did too. My 30s, I ain't been with nobody, man or woman. Not because I can't get one, but because the right one ain't came along. When the right one come along, we gonna date. But until the end, I don't got no interest because my tolerance level is low. I don't want a person who don't know what it is that they want when it comes to sexuality. I used to identify as being bisexual because that's the rules of LGBT. If you've been with a man, you considered bi, meaning they telling you bi. You see what I'm saying? And so when I put that title down, I already knew that I didn't want to date men no more. I dated men because that was something that came with being a woman. So when I put the title of being bisexual down, I just only dated women. You see what I'm saying? And that's where I've been at. But people will bring up your past to prove a point in your present. No matter who I've dated, men or women, when I was young and hunched, I hunched both of them. When I was a teenager and hunched, I hunched both of them. When I was in my 20s, I hunched both of them. I just didn't have a promiscuous lifestyle when it came to my sexuality. I wasn't the type of person that was just, I hunch on this dude for 1 month and hunch on a girl. It wasn't like that. You know what I'm saying? It was never like that in my life. And anybody that know me will tell you that. Majority of my life I've been single. Because I'm the type of person, like I said, I'm picky. I'm picky because I choose to date a certain type of person. Me dating a person, sometimes when it came to men, when I dated men, I dated a person that was consistent. You see what I'm saying? So I give him a shot because he was consistent. And I will find myself either being hurt by them or being in a position where I ran away from it. I ran away from good people, good guys, because I knew I didn't want to spend the rest of my life with a guy. I tried with a guy when it came to me becoming a parent. It's because we had a lot in common, and I was still in this mode where I knew that I liked it women and wanted to be with a woman, but I was trying to do the right thing to appease my family and people that I cared about. So that's why I dated men. But then when I got to the point to where I didn't want to mislead a man and I didn't want to hurt nobody, and I didn't want to hurt myself too, because a lot of times you have men that's married to women and they gay. They be gay as hell, and they'll have little booty partners that they'll come and fuck and get a room, and one of them will get the room and the other one will walk in 30 minutes later, but the room already bought and the other dude already in the room, and he might leave the key outside the door, and another dude bend down and open the door and just come into the room, and it's 2 beds in there. He come into the room and sit his bag down, but the whole time that's his booty partner. But he got a whole ass wife at home. I didn't want to be that person, even though I have been that person. Because like I said, I dated a woman and I cheated on her before. I cheated on her with a man before and with a woman. And that's not fair to her, but she also cheated on me with a man and with a woman. So it's like sometimes you get what you put out in the world. So I decided to get off that path of putting out a falsehood. So with me putting out a falsehood, I understood that if I'm bisexual, I should only date bisexual people. Why? Because a bisexual person is a person that like men and women. You know what I'm saying? As the LGBT say, a lesbian is a person that only date lesbians. But that's their definition of it modern day. Because a lesbian is a woman that like women. It don't matter if she bisexual or not, like men and women. A lesbian means that you're a woman that likes women. A gay male means that you're a gay man that likes men. Now they want you to identify with bisexual because you like men and women. So I always used to think in my mind, because I have the traits of being bisexual to like men and women, is the men that I date, are they bisexual too? Because you're attracted to a bisexual person. So a cat is attracted to another cat. A dog gonna be attracted to another dog, no matter what color it is. A fish gonna mate with fish. See what I'm saying? That's just how it go. But the animal kingdom don't have all these classifications on what is love. A dog will hit another dog and go up the street and hit another dog, especially if she in heat. If she in heat, he's gonna know that she's horny. So he's gonna satisfy her needs because he can tell that her nature is aroused. That's just being a dog. A dog by nature know to do that. But we don't judge dogs for humping another dog, going around the street and humping another dog. We don't judge the dog, but we judge each other. So the scripture gonna tell you that you're gonna be judges of each other and judges of self. And that's what people doing. They place a lot of judgment on each other when they shouldn't.